All right, welcome back to Wake of America Early. So that was Admiral Brad Cooper giving an update on the progress of Operation Epic Fury. So for more on this, we're now joined by GOP strategist Mike Hahn and Project 21 ambassador April Chapman. Good morning to you both. Mike, I'm going to start with you on this one. Your thoughts on what we just heard from Admiral Cooper there. Are you impressed with what the American military has been able to accomplish thus far? I mean, it's only been 7 days.
Yeah, you're right. It's only been 7 days, and it's a far cry from the forever wars that we saw in the Middle East during past administration. So I think what the military has been able to do is fantastic. Here at Frontline Strategies, the data is showing that it's extremely popular with the base. Fundraising donations have picked up for Republican candidates and folks that are supporting us going against Iran, who is, let's be clear, a mortal enemy of the United States. And if they were to get a nuclear weapon, they would absolutely use it against us and our allies. Yeah, and that was their ultimate goal, was building that nuclear weapon. So the House voting to limit President Trump from taking further military action against Iran. That failed in a 212 to 219 vote. Very close there. But Florida Senator Rick Scott saying Trump, he's doing the right thing. Let's take a listen.
Whether you believe the War Powers Act is constitutional or not, the president has followed through. He's briefed Congress. He's given, he did the Gang of Eight. He did a large group. We had classified briefings. So the president's followed that. So no, the president's doing what he should be doing. But in fact, if he didn't do this, I think it would be a dereliction of duty. When you know that Iran's trying to create a nuclear weapon to destroy Americans, and they've been killing Americans for 40 years, right? This president is actually saving lives.
Yeah, April, your response there to Senator Scott, do you agree?
You know, I absolutely do agree. Recently, I've become a huge fan of The Godfather. And when I see this is Donald Trump taking care of family business. You know, I think it's interesting. A lot of Democrats, they suddenly sound like constitutional pundits now, but many of these same people had no issue and were not alarmed at all when Barack Obama took distinct military action. Donald Trump knows he has a very short window of opportunity, and he's taking decisive action, and we need to finish the job. We believed Iran when they said death to America, and now we're just returning the favor and making sure that they don't hurt any more people ever again.
Yeah, he liked the nickname Daddy when it came to other nations. I hope he hears this because he's going to like The Godfather as well, April. House Speaker Mike Johnson saying that he is grateful this resolution failed and says we've got some bigger problems. Let's take a listen.
It would have been a very dangerous gambit to take the commander-in-chief's ability away to complete this mission. It would have been a very serious misstep by Congress, and I'm grateful that that resolution failed. But also, the real big headline here is that every Democrat except 4 in the House just voted to keep the Department of Homeland Security unfunded. They do not want to fund the agencies whose job it is to keep Americans safe at this time of this heightened threat environment that we're all living in.
So earlier in the day, you know, the Senate voted 51 to 45 to move forward, failing for a third time to reach a 60-vote threshold needed to advance funding for the DHS. You know, Mike, my goodness, this has kind of flown under the radar, I think, a little bit. Do you think the Democrats will ever come around on this funding?
Well, look, I think Mike Johnson's right. Congress has a lot bigger issues to deal with than limiting the president's power in Iran. So, look, we still have to pass the SAVE Act. Yeah. We still have to pass banning stock trading with members. I don't think limiting the president in this mission, which has been proven to be very successful in Iran, is at the top of the list for Americans, and it shouldn't be at the top of the list for Congress either.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Well, speaking of DHS, President Trump announcing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. This came out yesterday. Will be stepping down at the end of the month after serving for just over a year in her role and tapping Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to take over that role. So Noem, she wrote this on X, quote, "Thank you, POTUS Trump, for appointing me as the special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. Secretary Rubio and Secretary of War are incredible leaders, and I look forward to working with them closely to dismantle cartels that have poured drugs into our nation and killed our children and grandchildren." April, from all of the insiders there, it seems like this was kind of a long time coming. Were you surprised, though, by this news?
Honestly, I'm not surprised. See, Donald Trump, he's results driven, right? He's not going to give people an opportunity to hang themselves. At this point, he gave Kristi Noem a shot. After looking at the situation, he decided, listen, Kristi is great. She's been loyal, but her strengths are better used somewhere else. In light of the fact of her recent testimony in front of the Senate, there were some damning things that came out. And I do believe that Donald Trump is going to use this as leverage to say, listen, Democrats wanted her gone. We've moved her aside. Can I get the funding that we need for DHS? This is a chess move, absolutely. And I loved how Kristi Noem took the opportunity to respond with poise and grace instead of crashing out or retaliating. She's accepting this demotion with grace. So I don't think it's a firing.
Yeah,
per se.
Yeah, she got a different role. And again, like you said, she didn't really address it necessarily on X. She just accepted her next role. But CNN, we got to talk about this, Mike. Seemingly shocked the Republicans actually like their leader. Let's take a look.
Republicans love Donald Trump more than any president's own party supporters loved him at this particular point. Just take a look here. Okay, own party supporters, 21st century presidents, own party approval, about at this point in the second term. Bush was at 77%. Obama was at 77%. Look at this. 86% of Republicans approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing at this point. That is higher than either Obama or Bush had within their own party at this point. Trump's magic touch has not seemed to wear off yet when it comes to the Republican base.
Yeah, in just recent history, it was always Obama was kind of the threshold for the most loved president on the left. Yeah, Trump is outpolling him right now. Mike, your reaction?
Not surprised at all. I mean, look, we elected the guy three times really, to be president of the United States. And it's no surprise that Donald Trump knows what the base feels and is popular amongst Republicans. I mean, just take a look at the primaries in Texas. I mean, every single candidate that he endorsed won, including in North Carolina and in Arkansas as well. He is the most powerful force within the Republican Party, and the Democrats are still struggling to find a leader as we approach a pivotal midterm, but also a pivotal presidential year in 2028.
Yeah, and I'm hearing some polling that Kamala Harris might be polling on top for 2028. That is terrifying. My God, April Chapman, great conversation this morning. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.